Welcome to Resell Radio. My name is Nick, a co-founder of Hustle, a community that myself and Ethan have built in order to share and improve resellers' journeys, as well as just building and strengthening the community that the resale game already has. Today I am speaking to Casual's Warehouse. All of his links are going to be in the description below, as will be the link to our Instagram where the community really is at. Now, I'm sure that you guys are going to start hearing a lot more about this guy who has managed to build a community in the reselling game, in the fashion community, to a page that's got about 65,000 followers, as well as being active on Depop, eBay, and his own website. The guy has a lot of knowledge. He's been doing this for a while, and I'm going to shut up and just let you guys hear the conversation, because there's a lot of good things in there. Start talking about how you've now built this thing that has got you to a place where you're almost being forced into going full time.
It started, the page that I run originally started 4 or 5 years ago. That just came out of a passion for clothing. All around the same sort of the clothing that I sell now, the Stone Island CP company. I just liked it, the designs of it. And I just created a community of people that grew, letting people showcase their stuff. Nothing to do with me, never had the idea of doing this. It was just something that I enjoyed showcasing, and it kept me busy at work, finding people's photos, sharing them out. And then a couple of years ago, probably about 18 months ago, the amount of messages I was getting on DMs when I hit about 50,000 followers, people asking me, is this real? Is it fake? How much is it worth? What can I sell it for? Is this good condition? And I thought, well, fucking hell, I don't know. It's not my speciality, but people trusted me. And the more I looked into it, I realized that I did know a lot. I bought a lot of secondhand stuff anyway, because I'm quite happy to go on eBay, to go on Depop and buy stuff for me. By the time you've washed it and that, half of it, you never know.
Exactly.
So I was quite happy doing it, giving people advice. And then I noticed people were getting ripped off by not so much Instagram pages, but a lot of Depop, eBay sort of pages were taking the mick with the pricing. So I picked up a few bits, cheap bits for myself. They didn't fit. So I used my page to sell it. I sold 3 things in literally 5 minutes that were my own.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, well, hang on a minute. I wasn't expecting that. And I got my money back. So I went out and bought a few more bits, but then I bought different sizes and I sold them on. They literally, within the first couple of weeks of doing it, I sold about 35 items. Only made a couple of quid on each bit, but all of a sudden I was like, I could do this. And then it's just grown. I mean, I had to create another page because I was putting up 30 stories a day on a page that had never had that before. And yeah, then it just got to a point that I just had to get more and more. I just built a clientele really that people wanted more.
Yeah. So this first page that you built, was that Casual's Warehouse?
Yeah. So that literally started, that's had about 10 different names, but that name's stuck in the last few years. And it is purely just a page for people to show off what they've got. It's just people that enjoy clothing. They're all there for the same thing. I rarely, if ever, advertise anything on it. If I do, it's other shops that I trust or that I'm friends with that do what I do. I'm not one of them pages that you see a lot of the big ones. They sell adverts, they sell gambling, they sell all of that. That's not for me. I'm in it for the clothes. I'm in it for the community. If I wanted to do all of that, then I wouldn't be in the business that I'm doing now. It's not a money earner. It's a hell of a lot of work. Yeah. But I enjoy the community aspect of knowing that because of me, people are getting a better quality of clothing and they're not getting the mick taken out of them.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, because a lot of people getting into this, part of it is because of money. Maybe they want more money to go out on the weekend, but you would never be able to grow the page that you have grown and have that, was it 65,000 on the just the Casual Warehouse? Yeah, about 65,000 there. And you couldn't do that without getting basically no return from what it sounds like. Like, you got to follow him, but monetary, you got no return. You wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't have the love for the clothes.
No, I mean, it literally is a hobby. With what I do long hours at my work. I do 80 odd hours a week. So I don't, this is something that keeps me sane. But there's never been a return out. There's no reward for it. I sit there and I go through posts and pages, and me and another page, we did fake spotting and we did all this sort of thing. But it's just out of a passion of something I enjoy. I've never once bought a follower, ever. I see all these pages now, and they're buying other pages. Someone offered me £8,000 for my page last week in my bank, and I was like, no, because it's my hobby.
You can't sell your passion.
£8,000's all well and good, but all I'd do is start another one, and I know I would, but I wouldn't have the community that I have now, and someone would ruin that. And the 5 years that's gone into that page is more of a passion for me than selling sometimes, because I just like showing off people's stuff. It's just what was born.
Yeah, exactly. There's a like sentimental value towards it. There's a thing of when you go home, like I work gardening as well. When I come home, I've got my family, I've got my girlfriend and my daughter, and I spend time with them, and obviously love spending time with them. And then I do work for Hustle as well, and I love doing that work for Hustle. It's not something that I have to force myself to do to get a reward, because I know it can be something like I want to do the work. And that's what it sounds like. It's the same for you.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, I try and we've got followers from all around the world. So I try to sort of put different photos up at different times so everyone sees something. But there'll be times that I've been out with my missus or whatnot, and she go, oh, what are you doing? You think someone's just tagged me in a photo and it's really good. I want to get it up now. They deserve to get it shown off. You never switch off from it. But that's something that I knew this was what I was going to enjoy doing and what I was meant to do, because it isn't a job. It isn't hard work. It's just fun. It takes me away from real life, especially at the moment.
Well, yeah. But that's the thing. You said it's not hard work, but for someone else it would be.
Yeah, I mean,
for someone else it would be.
I couldn't. You see a lot of pages now. Like I like following a lot of what you've got on your page with the vintage, because I like older Stone Island stuff, especially. I love Adidas, and there's a couple of shops that I follow that I really like what they do. But then you've seen a lot of these new sellers that think if they just go out and they wholesale £1,000 worth of stuff and lob a photo up on Instagram, that they're going to be popular straight away. And anyone that's just after money now, you can spot a mile away. Because if you don't enjoy what you do, I wouldn't buy off someone that I don't think's got their heart in it and that just wants my money. What's the point? I don't buy off certain shops because they're just in it for themselves. Their customer service is poor, or I want people that enjoy what they do, and that completes the whole sort of transaction for me. Yeah,
that's part of the reason why we set up the page. Our grand scheme of things is that we want people to do what they want to do, but we know that we like reselling. We've done it ourselves, and we liked it much more than the jobs that we were doing before. Even now, the gardening I do because I like it, but not enough for it to be my career. And I've got bills to pay, so it's like that balance between the two. But if you can just get people doing what they love doing, that comes across. And I think this generation particularly, there's a lot more people that are looking out for the reasons behind what you're doing, as opposed to they can just get a couple of quid off a jumper or something.
That's the thing. I mean, nowadays, I hate my job with a passion. The thing is, it's just what I'm good at. It's what I've always done.
What job is it, sorry?
I work in security.
Oh, okay.
So, but at the moment with the pandemic, there is work everywhere for me, but I work on the Ministry of Defence site. So my job's pretty secure, but it's long hours for little reward. But at the moment, you have to be happy that you've got a job. What I've noticed since when the pandemic started, I mean, I was doing this before the pandemic and doing okay. Don't get me wrong, I was doing enough to go out each weekend, have something to eat, treat myself to a few beers, which I've always said what it was about. But when the pandemic started and people were from home and they were looking for that cheaper option, people that buy the sort of clothes that I sell, they still want it. They're just looking to save a few quid. They can't afford, now they're on furlough, to spend 250 quid on a jumper. They know that I'll have it for about 100 quid. And they know that I've looked after it. I don't lie in the descriptions. I don't take dodgy photos. I don't hide things. And they know I'll get it to them. And for me, that created me more friends than it did customers. I don't want people to think that I look at them as just, well, that's easy money. I want people to think that I'm in it for what I am in it, which is to build a community. And that's what I enjoy.
Yeah. Well, there's two things there. There's the one that since the pandemic hit, the rework, secondhand, vintage clothing market has just skyrocketed for the exact reason that you're saying, as along with a couple others. But I think the main thing that I've seen pop up already, just from like 5-10 minutes of talking to you, is that idea of trust that you're just trying to get out to everyone. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the other page that I've got, which is the shop page, which is just over 4,000 people on it, I talk to the same people all day, every day on there, because they're mates first and foremost now, rather than people going. And when I get stuff in like today, open up the packages that I got received yesterday, I've ironed them, and I already know where half of them will go. And I would rather it go to them than anyone else, because I know they're going to wear it, they get the worth out of it, they enjoy it. Literally most items that I do, I make 5-10 quid. If that sometimes. And people go, I've had other shops go, well, you could make a lot more. I could, but that's not what it's about. I would rather sell huge volume and make a few quid here and there than I would try and make all my money off of one person. I see a lot of pages do it.
Yeah.
And I don't see how you ever think you're going to have a future in it if all you're doing is chasing money. There's so much more to business than chasing money.
Yeah, and you've definitely come in at it from that value adding side, as opposed to looking at what you can gain. You're seeing what can you do so that other people gain, but also you're just able to continue to keep doing those things.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if it keeps ticking over, as long as I'm not losing money, this is a hobby. If I wasn't making anything, it's a hobby that I enjoy doing. That's what it's always going to be, whether this goes anywhere. If in 2 years' time I have to do it full time, it's still going to be my hobby. When I stop enjoying it, it's when I stop doing it. But I like it when people get their stuff, they put their stories will be great service or quality again. This is the 10th time I've bought off him, and they show my business card, and then people message me. That means more to me than making 20 quid off someone, because they've trusted me enough to go to their mates and go, you've got to use him, like, you'll love his stuff. And the longevity of it for me is worth more than a quick few quid. I have a job for that. If I wanted to make loads of money, I wouldn't do what half these pages do and give up work straight away and go, oh, look at me. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy that you're in a position that you're in, with the amount of followers, the audience you have, making the sales you make, with the clothes that you bring in and out, that you call it a hobby when you've got people that are doing a lot less than you. And this isn't to say that you can't see it like that. Everyone's got their own different perspective. But they would call it a flat out business, whereas for you, it's solely a hobby.
The minute I call it a business is when you have to treat it differently. I know what it is, and I know what it could be, and I believe I will take it there. But the minute I call it a business, the costs go up. I mean, the website is on a basic. It costs me 30, 40 quid a month to host. But the amount of time that I put in, if I put monetary value on it, that's when I've got to start making more money. And I don't want to lose the custom that I have. There's a lot of people that like buying off me, and they come back every month. I see the same stuff that I sell on other pages, 20, 30 quid dearer. I've sold to other pages and watched them make money off me, and they do it easily. But there's no longevity in it, because sooner or later people will go, well, hang on a minute, what am I doing? There's other pages that I can get this off and have a better experience in it. Like you say, there's loads of pages that they call it a business, and they focus on the fact it's my business. I've got this, I've got that. There's so much more to life than owning your own business and being able to call yourself a CEO on Instagram.
Yeah. So is this why you describe it as being between a rock and a hard place? That as soon as you go full time with this, then it almost does become a business. Yeah,
because I'll have to change who I am, because if I went more into it, I then have to make sure my bills are covered. All of a sudden, I have to make sure my car insurance is done, my car's paid for, all the bills in my flat are paid for.
Yeah.
Now, at the moment, it's doing me well. I do savings. I get the things that I want to get. If I went, right, it's now work, I would wake up each day and go, right, have I paid the water bill? Is my council tax paid? Is my car paid? And then I'm going to start chasing. And I think I'd become more reckless with my buying. I buy now what I like. I don't buy anything, whatever size it is. If I wouldn't wear it, I won't buy it. And I wouldn't sell it to people. I couldn't in myself sell something to someone that I think's shite. And I watch other pages do it, and they'll churn out stuff, and they'll just churn it out and churn it out and churn it out. But you know, half of it they don't even like. I don't see the point in selling something that you wouldn't wear yourself. Yeah, I think we give that advice out as well for a slightly different reason, but for people that resell clothes, we reckon that if you sell clothing that you like, so for you started with the CP company in the Stone Island, you know which of the Stone Island CP company to buy, because they'll have so many different like colors, variations, different years where there's slight changes, and you know what people want.
because you're a kind of person that wears it, and so it just makes it 10 times easier for you to do your job.
That's the sort of thing, like I say, I look at a lot of the vintage pages and I respect what they do. But when I see certain pages and you see them unloading bales of clothes, they don't know what's in it. They haven't picked any of it, and they'll just iron it and sell it. And where's the fun in that? There is no fun in that for me personally, anyway. I get why some people do it, and I get that the money's probably quite good. But in 3-4 years' time, you're going to get bored of that. It all comes back again to enjoying it and the passion. I have a passion for this clothing. I enjoy selling it. I enjoy finding it, sourcing it. I have hundreds of ways of getting clothes in. People just presume I sit there and go on eBay and job done, and then I sell it. There's so much more to it. But that's the fun in it. I sit here, and I had a message from someone last night on Instagram and was like, where the hell did you get that hoodie from? Like, it's not my size, but I've been trying for 2 years to get one. Well, so have I, but I found one in another country, had to get it in, and I'm not going to make any money on it because the cost it cost me to get it from that country ate into all my profit. But for me, I've got it. I was the one that found it. People will come to see it, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, there's your pride. But that's one of the reasons why I like this reselling, because so many people come from so many different angles. If you're looking at people doing the wholesale bundles and sorting through all that clothes, and I'm in a similar mindset to you, where that is not something that I personally would enjoy and like doing. But some people like it, bringing it in, and you almost get this sort of like mystery of what's going. And then you do have a few bits which you have to sell, and you're probably not the most proud about, but you might find a couple pieces which you had no idea existed and you're just over the moon about. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I can get that. The thing is, I think with a lot of the resale with the vintage, it depends on what your style is. Like, name dropping a few, I like looking at 99 vintage.
Yeah,
they don't even know my page, they don't know who I am, but watching their shop is quite inspirational in terms of where I could go with it. Two lads that clearly focus on the customer service side of it rather than the money side, and they go out and they work hard for it. They go out and they go to the boot sales, they buy off other people. That's what I like. But I see where you're coming from in terms of the bales, and you might find something nice, but once in a blue moon, I can find that once a week by working hard for it. I sort of find it cheating. If someone said to me, I'll give you £1,000 worth of stock a week, all you've got to do is iron it and lob it up, I just wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So many different ways to think about it. But looking at your Instagram, I've seen you basically just sort of on your community page, it's basically just sort of like outfit inspiration, or you get like pictures of loads of trainers all laid out in a nice way. It's just very aesthetic. And I'm wondering, I'm imagining now from after speaking to you that is other people's images that they've sent to you to be shared.
Yeah, I literally, I've sort of said, if I follow a lot on there and my personal page, always ask them first, do you mind if I share it? Because I like the photo. A lot of people, I've collected trainers for a long number of years. I've got 80, 90 pairs of trainers in this flat. I wear them all, but you at the same time, you enjoy looking. I wouldn't buy them if I didn't like them. And I see other people like sharing them, and people enjoy looking at it. I've bought clothes and trainers based on other people's photos. And people like showing it off. You wouldn't, I don't care who you are in doing what we do, you have to be a bit vain. You buy something, you put it on, you go, I like that. And you do take a photo of it. Hence it ends up online. If none of us were vain about it, none of us would have a business.
Yeah. I don't think there's a single person watching this who could say that they've not seen an Instagram post or something of someone wearing something that they like and they've gone and bought it, or at least gone to look to see if they can buy it, or they look and they feel fresh and like it's a new top, they've taken a picture and thrown it up. I don't think a single person could say. Do you know how many people love our clothes?
People have gone, oh, do you know what, that's nice though, but I'd never wear that. And you think, yeah, but how do you know that? You didn't know it existed until 2 minutes ago, and you guarantee you've now looked at it to see how much it was. And people that say that everyone's the same. If you buy off the internet, you've looked at something and go, I could wear that. Just because it's on Insta, it's the same thing. Everything's a window. Everything's a shop window. So it's
you do. You just see it and you naturally picture it on a little bit, don't you?
Yeah. It doesn't matter what market you're in, whether you're selling £5 jumpers or £500 jumpers. It's all about the image. And if you like it, you like it. You can't help your taste.
Exactly. So did your Instagram I'm going to call it strategy of like other people's content and sharing it. Was that always the same when you first started the page? Were you creating content, or did it start like just like this?
It started like that, and it was realistically because I followed another page that's still big now, but it became very much full of adverts, full of gambling, and I didn't like it. I thought, there should be a page without that. It's not that hard to screenshot a photo and put it up online for no credit. You just tag them in it. It's not exactly difficult. And I've created some of my own and put it out, but I never tag myself in it because I'm not bothered about what people think. I just like the photos. But it was always just to create a community, which is what I've done. I find it absolutely amazing to think that I could fill pretty much each football stadium in this country with the followers on my Instagram. There's 2 stadiums in this country that are bigger than what follow me, and they don't know it's me because there's no personal face behind it. It's just a community of people that enjoy sharing clothes.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane that you could fill out Premier League stadiums with the amount of followers that you had. And you could just have a little parade of like a Stone Island show or something, and everyone's just going to be there gassed.
If everyone followed my account and turned up in one place, I could fill 90% of Wembley. And it's mad when you think about it. It's insane, and it's growing. It's still growing. It's probably about 1,300 followers a month growing. And that's even with Instagram's algorithm being absolutely knackered.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point last year I was gaining 500 a week through the content. And I know it happened again. I think by the end of this year, I'll probably be closing in on 80,000 people. And it shows you worldwide how many people just enjoy clothes.
What's your audience like in terms of where they live?
It's literally all over. I have a huge UK following, Germany, Spain, Netherlands. But then Indonesia, I get messages at 4 or 5 in the morning and my phone will ping and it's people from Indonesia asking me where to buy a jumper from. But I find it incredible getting a message from I mean, I sent clothes recently to Indonesia. I sent one to Kuwait. And if someone's messaging me and they found that page and they liked it enough to follow it and make the effort to message me, and I will make sure I message everyone back. They don't know who I am, but the respect that I gain, I think, when they like my content.
Yeah.
So I'll reply to everyone, no matter where they are. And I've probably, since I've started selling, there's probably more countries that I've sold to than haven't now. I think at the last check, it was something like 80 countries I'd sent stuff to. It was incredible to think about. The thing is, it's the same, I'm guessing, for everyone that does it. When you specialize in a certain brand, you will find people worldwide that like it. Some of the countries I've sent to, they don't have the stores that sell what we sell. Some of these countries don't earn the money that we earn in this country, and they look for it secondhand, and they don't mind paying. And I find it mad to think there's people in Thailand walking around in stuff that was in my front room that I ironed and folded for them. Australia, America, Indonesia, India, Pakistan, Dubai, Kuwait. It's mad to think. I sit here and I do it all by hand. So I write these out and I look at these addresses.
Yeah.
I look at these addresses and think, these are people that have interacted with me.
Yeah, well, we had, when we were throwing up a lot of our clothes, a lot of people from Thailand and Indonesia that I've noticed particularly quite like Tommy. They're quite big on the Tommy Hilfiger.
That I mean, I've never sold Tommy, but I was doing Ralph Lauren and Lacoste and stuff, and they were all taking all of it, literally all of it. Fred Perry as well.
Yeah, where do people like Stone Island?
Honestly, the worldwide market for Stone Island is huge.
Yeah,
I've sold it absolutely everywhere. The problem with it now is people can get hold of really good fakes. And it causes a hell of a lot of problems.
What about, because Stone Island, they have their CERTI logo, don't they? And their was it the CPG CLG code? So what does that not sort of sort out separating the fakes from the real?
It does if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
So 80% of people, I looked at it on eBay this morning. There was people, and it's an obvious fake to me. But to other people that don't know it as well as I do, it's not. But because it has that code, they don't know how to check it. If you check that code, CERTI logo will come back to you straight away and say it's fake.
Yeah.
But people will buy it because they've made the effort to fake the barcode. I found companies online that fake the barcodes all the time, and they look good. So you just wouldn't check.
Yeah, you just trust it just because it's there.
I'm sure you know with certain brands of clothing, I can tell by where the badge position is, the thread, the color of certain threads, just little tiny bits that other people wouldn't think about. You sit there and you go, that's the right.
Yeah, but that's almost the kind of knowledge that you get and you don't realize that you have.
Yeah.
So when someone's messaging you something saying like, oh, could you spot this for me? You're thinking, I'm no expert. But actually, where you've been doing it for years and years, you've accumulated a lot of knowledge.
The amount of them you get sent on Instagram and they go, and you look at it and they're good fakes, don't get me wrong, but they don't mean to buy it. They've been sold it by a mate or whatever. And you think this has been in 4 hands and no one's realized yet that it's no much better than firewood. But I can spot it a mile off. It's just, I've had to have them in my hand though, to know it. I've had to sit there, and I've been at points when I first started where I was owed hundreds of pounds through PayPal, and you're waiting for it, and I couldn't do anything, and you have to get conned a few times before you wise up to what's going on.
Yeah. What's a few of the things that you look out for on say a Stone Island jumper to check its authenticity?
I mean, having the certain is always one on the newer pieces. The quality of material you can always tell pretty much straight away. And the neck tag is a massive giveaway. For me, the stitching on the neck tag, you just know straight away. And if it's wrong, or if the size label's anywhere other than on the wash label, basically on 90% of the stuff. You see the ones on eBay and they've got the size tag on the label. Stone Island have never, ever done that. So you just know to stay away, but people don't know it. At Christmas, I saw millions of fakes on eBay. Absolutely millions. And you think poor people are spending hard-earned money on something and getting ripped off, and it ain't on. Yeah,
because there was a bit of a debate about this on our page, actually, about selling fake or bootleg items. And for me personally, if someone is saying that it's like something that is bootleg and like they've got their own little twist on it, sort of thing, and they're saying that it's not actually a Nike piece, this is a Nike piece that I've made up, and they're selling it for less, then for me, if you've been upfront about it and you're not ripping people off, that is absolutely fine. But I'm interested to see what you think.
I was watching a video about this a couple of days ago. I'm reading an Instagram. I think it was Royal London Vintage that had it up. I was following him through the summer as well with a bootleg thing on Depop. And it was to do with bootleg Nikes, because people were selling bootleg Nikes for 250 quid.
Oh, yeah.
But weren't saying what they were. And for me, I would never wear one personally. That's for me. I work for what I get. I work hard. The money I spend on what I want to spend. I wouldn't wear fakes. I personally don't agree with, even if people, it's my own take on it. Don't use someone else's image at the start. If you're good enough to make your own level of clothing, do it. Don't go, it's inspired by someone. Well, no, take that and run with it. Don't try and cotton on to someone else. I mean, I see it a lot in the Nike since I started the vintage, and they say it's bootleg. It's just a jumper then that you could stitch at home. If you've got that talent, make your own badge, make your own something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spot a fake Nike if it hit me in the face, to be fair. But I see the arguments all the time on these vintage pages. Someone went, well, it's bootleg, you'll never get another one. It's 70 quid. And you think, I could buy an actual Nike jumper for less than that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where even if you're upfront about it, if you're then trying to sell it for more, saying that you're worth more than Nike's designer, then, well, if you are, it's like you say, prove it. Yeah, if you can design something better and that people want more and will pay more than for a Nike jumper, then do it, because like you've got the confidence, and this isn't a dig at all. If you've got that confidence, that show us. I'd love to see these sick designs that I've never seen before. I'd love it.
That's the thing, use it and branch it. If you've got the knowledge and the passion to do it, do your own thing. Don't, and it's the same in any industry. Don't cotton on to someone else's success. Make your own. You never want to be in anyone's shadow. And especially with bootlegs, think about it's inspired by, or it's a one-off. It's a one-off because no one else wants it. No one's done it. The reason it's a one-off and you're the only one that's got it is because you can't flog it.
Yeah, well, there is definitely some truth to that, because 99% of people will be doing it for money. And so if they could sell off 50 of them, making a lot of money, then I'm sure they'll do the same.
Yeah. Oh, without that, I mean, in Stone Island recently, there's a company that make fakes, and they're pretty good, like really good. And they flooded the market, but they were stupid enough to recreate a jumper that was so rare, a jacket so rare a few years ago, that when they come out new, they were 800 odd quid. Suddenly, just before Christmas, there was 30 of them on eBay in the same week.
Yeah.
And I messaged the fellow, went, it's fake. And he's like, it's not. Mate, it definitely is. No one's got a 10-year-old jacket brand new with tags, along with 30 other people in the same week. Like, just use your noddle a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't understand the need to, it's, in all these ways of life, stand out. Don't just try and be part of the crowd. If you want to do something different, do it different. Just don't rip other people off while you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, when did you decide to branch off them from the community page and start creating the actual store?
Well, about 18 months, 2 years ago, when I just put.
And sorry, how far into your community page were you at that point as well?
2.5, 3 years in.
Okay.
I was just enjoying the hobby. I'd sold some of my own personal clothes just because I wanted to read, and I didn't want to sell them on eBay. I'd rather someone truly get them rather than just lob it on eBay. And then someone said, "Oh, can you get me this jumper?" And funnily enough, I'd found it on eBay, and I said, "Yeah, I can get it for you, mate. It's on eBay." And he went, "How much do you want for finding it?" And I was like, "Nothing. I just went on eBay." And he was like, "Well, I wouldn't have found it." And he dropped me a couple of quid to get a pint. And I started doing that a little bit, finding things. And then all of a sudden, you've got 20, 30 items in your house and you're offering them out. And it was never the plan.
Yeah, it just came about naturally.
It just happened. And the enjoyment from it just grew. I mean, today's my day off from work. I've got up. I've put 15 items on my website. I've then ironed and washed another 20 items that are now hanging up and drying. I've then got 10 or 11 items I've got to print off shipping labels for, folder. And all of a sudden, I've worked 8 hours today, but loved every minute of it.
Yeah, and it not actually worked.
Yeah. I mean, you sit here sometimes, you think, geez, I haven't even turned the telly on. Because this consumes more time than people realise.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And this is the thing, all the new ones that start, and you just see them churning things out, and it's all the same. It's the same stuff, and it's just, you've got to build it. You can't. Rome weren't built in a day. Crap comment that actually, but you can't just decide that you're going to sell. You have to make your shop separate to everyone else. You have to have that selling point of why people come to you. Just buying a load of stuff and taking photos of it doesn't make people come and buy it from you.
So the people that are thinking about reselling and are looking at a few different pages and thinking like, oh, I could get into that. What advice for them in finding their selling point? Because that might be the point now where they were quite motivated and they're thinking, oh, how do I make mine different? What would you say to those people? For
me, if you were starting now, you've got to build a social media following before you do anything. You have to have some sort of following. And as corny as it sounds, you can't just create a page and hope people like it. You have to build something that people want before you start selling. You have to be different, whether it's the photography that's different, whether it's the business cards you do, whether it's the fact you make a video for every item or you sing a song, whatever. Do something that no one else is doing, because there's hundreds of pages doing the same thing. I count myself as lucky that I built the page that I have, because I genuinely enjoy it, and I couldn't imagine my life, to be honest, now without it, because it's just been every day I've updated that page, including Christmas days, for the last 5 years. And that's what I built. And if you're going to start selling, one, you've got to know what you're doing. You can't just put money into something and hope it works. You've got to build a social media following and just be different. Just churning photos out on Depop the same as the 150 other people are doing for the exact same price.
Yeah.
Depop's the worst for me at the moment, because so many people are doing the same thing. You go, I'll just go on eBay and find it. Because it's just quicker sometimes than going through the same posting on Depop 20 times. But for me, if you look at something and you go, you know what? They've ironed that. They've put the effort into it. They've made a nice photo. The lighting's good. I'll look at that one because they put some effort into it.
Yeah, and you just have that level of trust there as well that's created because you can see they put effort in and they care.
If they've made the effort to make it look good, you think, do you know what, they're all right. And you just got to build, especially with Depop, you've got to start selling tiny. Even if you lost at the beginning, for me personally, to build, because I won't personally, and it's bad, buy off sellers with no feedback. Just because I just won't. I can't be bothered with the hassle of fake sellers and having to wait 20 days for PayPal to decide that I haven't got something, and then wait another few days for the money to go back in my bank. Sell things small, tiny things, just to get feedback. I don't know, key rings, whatever. Let a few people go, do you know what, that got to me really quickly, that it was really good. Build something.
Start to build a reputation, a name for yourself.
Yeah, if you don't have a reputation, if you don't have people trusting you, you don't have anything. You could have the best stock in the world, but if in the first few weeks someone said you were an awful seller and you replied badly, you're never going to use them. I've got 100 feedback on Depop, which is all 5 stars. I've got 400 on eBay, which is all 5 stars. Trustpilot, all of that. I built that on the basis that people enjoyed their experience. I look at eBay sometimes, and if in the last month their feedback's, do you know what, the seller was a bit of an arse, you go, do you know what, I don't want it that bad. It's true. Name.
It's true. You need that. And I've seen quite a few people say to maybe take losses or only make a couple quid off your first few items, if that means you can get sales and build a reputation.
And this is the thing I said to you earlier before we started doing this, is I saw on one of your other interviews the other day when he said, whatever you do, don't drop your prices, know what it's worth. I think the complete opposite sometimes, because I'd never drop them just because I've got no sales, for one. I don't get that. But if you're building something, no business ever starts at full price. Any new product, whether it's food, drink, clothing, whatever, they come out normally cheap. Because they want people to try it. I drop my prices sometimes because, especially when the pandemic or coming up to Christmas, people just haven't got the money, but they like what I have. Who am I to decide that I want extra money? If I go, do you know what, I've only made enough to buy a loaf of bread and 4 pints of milk, but I've made someone else happy, and they'll come back and they'll buy it at the prices I want. But my reputation is enhanced for that. If someone messages me and go, look, I can only afford 80 and I know you've got it up for 90, most of the time I'll go, do you know what, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If they take the mick and they ask again, obviously I'm not going to do it again. But I always believe that having a strong customer base is more than just them giving me money. It's about people enjoying the experience. If I have to fluctuate prices, if I have to go out my way sometimes to get it to them quicker than it normally does, I send everything the same way. Or if someone says, can you hold something for me for a couple of weeks? I beg you, here's my pay date. I'll always trust. I'm never going to lose.
What you're saying isn't necessarily telling everyone, go drop your prices. Everyone needs to drop their prices on everything. But you're saying there is definitely reasons to know why you're doing it, because there can be very good reasons as to doing it.
I mean, especially if you're starting, if I was starting selling the exact same things you were selling, I'd have to go cheaper than you just so someone bought from me in the start. It's not to mean you don't increase over time, but if with everything that's going on in the world right now, if someone says to me, can you drop it by a couple of quid? Unless I'm making a loss, you know what, actually, do you know what, for the sake of 10 quid, that'll make that kid happy, and he'll tell his mates. Every one customer that I help, I gain another one. And in the long run, I look at it and go, do you know what, I'm going to have 30, 40,000 people buying off me. And then my main competitor is going to have the same 6,000 because he was just an arse to everyone he spoke to.
Well, that's it. You compete either on your value or on your price. And that's where you're saying with the social media and standing out, if you've got something that makes you, that's your value. Like I've seen Chan's Garms on Instagram recently, and I think they're moving it onto Depop as well. They get like a flat lay of an item, and then they'll just get their hand and just like brush it to the side. So it has like a few creases and a few ripples in it. It looks like it's moving. And it's just that tiny little thing. But now every time you see that, you know it's going to be chance glance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like mine isn't that clever. Mine's just the angle that I take my photos at. But people will know it's mine. I've had people message me and say, I've seen your photo on eBay. And I'm like, that's not on eBay. I sold it about 2 weeks ago. But people are reusing, and they know it's me.
Yeah.
And it's mad to think that someone else knows my style.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not generic. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong nowadays, especially with Depop. You have to stand out in there because there is thousands of people sitting in unis all over this country, just laying an item on the floor and taking a photo of it. And there's hundreds of it about.
Yeah. And I think that's where you were talking about you need to build a social media following. A lot of people go on, and I agree with you 100%. I think you can make so much more off of building your own platform. But I think that's where a lot of people go straight on Depop, because you don't need that following to get going, because Depop does all the marketing and it has all the people on the app already for you. And so then that's where people can fall into the trap of, oh, all you need to do is just take any old picture, throw it up there with a price and it will sell.
Because I think what people forget with Depop is after fees, you ain't doing as well as you think. Because the minute you lose 15%, once they pay by PayPal and they take their cut, actually you think, Christ, is it really worth it?
So why do you use Depop still then? Because you've got your website, you've got your Instagram, and you use eBay too. So why is Depop in there?
Mainly because I probably break. I mean, I've got quite a few accounts on Depop. I tell them to go through my website because they'll get it cheaper. I want them to get it cheaper. But I put my Instagram tag on all my posts because there's an audience there that may not follow me on Instagram, and I can save them money if they want that item. I can save them money on Instagram, but I can also show them other things. And to me, it just widens the market. I barely sell on Depop and eBay, but every single item that I do sell goes on them. Just because I want people to click it, look at the name and go, I wonder if they're on social media.
Yeah.
And they find me on Instagram, they find me on Twitter, they find me on Facebook, and then they follow me. Then I've got them there. I don't need them on Depop.
So have you ever had your account banned from telling people to go to your Instagram, or is it you do it subtly? Because you're allowed to put your Instagram bio in, well, your Instagram link in your Depop bio, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on my last warning for the main page now. Because Depop seem to have a problem now with me saying, if you go to my website, you can have it cheaper. They didn't before. But I've got my links on everything. I've got no issue with giving Depop money. I mean, I sold something on there. The last one I sold was probably about 200 quid. But then I felt bad knowing that 20 odd quid of that, I still got what I wanted because I have to put the prices up on Depop. It has to be higher. That lad that bought it could have got it for 20, 25 quid cheaper if he'd have come to me direct. But if he bought off me there, he's now got my business cards in my packaging. He won't do it through Depop again. He'll come to me and he'll save money. But it's a whole world. Depop and eBay are essentially just another social media platform. It's people that want to buy for you. They just don't know it yet.
Is it the same thing on eBay? Because I'm not sure exactly about eBay fees and stuff, but I'm assuming it's a similar sort of strategy on eBay.
Exactly the same. eBay are a lot more strict. So I just have to be more manipulative with the photos that basically have my Instagram tag in the corner that says follow me on Insta.
Yeah. And then the business cards as well, I assume probably do.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot.
I have thousands that go into every parcel that I send, and I pretty much say on them, make sure you go straight to my website, make sure you go to me on social media. It will save you money.
Is that what you put on the card? It will save you money. Yeah.
I've just had new ones done. I'm waiting for them. And it says our social media will save you money.
Yeah. I think quite a lot of sellers are now using business cards, but not necessarily for the right reasons, but just to almost have a bit of a sense of branding and to feel a bit more professional. But if you could put on there a reason for someone to come back to you, or a reason for them to come to your social media, and not just tell them follow us on Instagram, because why should I follow you on Instagram? To tell them that I can save you money, I can give you inspiration, I can make you laugh, any of these things. That's why you should follow me on Instagram.
There's millions of business cards from every company all over the world. Again, you have to stand out. Just having your name on a card, you're more than likely to throw it away. On mine at the moment, we're doing, I don't know how many I've done, to be fair, but probably 1 in 2, 1 in 3. I'm writing offer codes on the back of them. So you have to look at them before you throw them away. but you'll look at them and you'll look at the car and you'll see my website, you'll see it, and you'll make sure you'll remember it. So everyone looks at my card to see if they've got that 5 or 10 quid off on their next order, but it gives them a reason to keep my card.
Yeah, smart.
Or to show their friends and go, look, this is where I got that from. I have 3 different cards. One of them just says my website on it and my name. You go, if someone goes, where'd you get that from? Oh, do you know what? I've got his card here. There's his website on that. Just put in your brand name on it. What does that show you? It doesn't give you anywhere to go. It doesn't give you any pointers. You've got to stand out.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason. And again, like you keep saying, got to be something to stand out. So you've talked about it a little bit, but only vaguely. Where do you see Casuals Warehouse, or just like your whole operation, taking you, or just being in itself in the future?
At the moment, it's a hobby that's become a part-time job. Not the pay of a part-time job, but the timing of it, essentially. The dream for me is to have a premises, to have a store where people can come meet other people that enjoy that fashion in person, create a place where you can go just chat with people and talk about the same things, football, that sort of stuff, which is where my brand is predominantly based. But to have that store where people can come in and just have a physical presence and I can meet everyone that I sell to would just make my day. Probably not going to happen anytime soon. But I think if I kept going the way I was going, and if my attitude stays the same in 2-3 years, there's no reason I couldn't have a store that has 200-300 items a week turning over. If I've got the stock and I put a lot of my own money in each month, any spare money that I have goes into this. I don't take any money out of it at all. Everything that I make goes into buying more. And if I can get that level of stock, why not open something? You only live once. You've got to try it.
Yeah.
Stock will always hold value. All I will ever lose is money on rent on a premises, but you've got to try it. If the community is big enough to have 70,000 followers, it's big enough to get 70 sales a week in a store.
Well, you, with the mindset you're talking about, always adding value, the fact that it's a hobby for you, I'm not some genius, but it definitely feels like you're onto something here. But how is your store going to stand out from other stores?
Because if you ask anyone that's bought from me, and if you look at any of our reviews, the difference to all of us is they say the customer service that they get from me. It's not even customer service. I'll reply to absolutely everyone, every question. Even if you think it's odd, I will answer everything. I'll do anything. And I'll make sure that people look for it. Once they've got their item, they go, do you know what? That was brilliant. And that was easy. And I'll stand out by making sure that every single customer I get gets the same satisfaction. I don't treat anyone differently. Everyone gets the same packaging, the same cards, the same offers. No favoritism, just make sure that everyone's happy with what I do. And I don't feel there is, in modern day clothing, a store that's like that.
Well, massive respect to you for replying to every single message, because you have got a page which is, like 12, 14 times the size of ours. And the amount of messages that we get split between 2 people takes up a lot of time. And sometimes we have to leave people there for a couple of days because we want to get back to them with a good answer. We don't want to just say, cool. We want to actually like reply to these people. And so sometimes people have to wait.
Yeah, I mean, I've given up. I said we haven't got a social life at the moment, but my sort of downtime that I have after work is now doing this. But it's worth it in the long run because it will run itself at some point. I won't need to put the effort in that I do. But all this effort that you do early is what will define you in the long run. The hard work now pays off in the future. And I think that's the same for any business that you do. Well,
Ross, it's been a genuine pleasure to speak to you. This is going to be a sick episode. I can see a lot of information going out to people, and I really recommend people to go check out your page, get involved in your community, and become part of Casuals Warehouse too.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation just as much as I did. Honestly, this is one of my favorites. I feel like the conversation just flowed and he has so many good things in there. One of the main things I picked up was his like value for community and just doing things for the good of doing it. He's not someone who's particularly in this for the money. He's just trying to do something good. He's trying to let people get a hold of clothes that they've not necessarily seen before or would struggle to get a hold of themselves, and just providing that value and making sure that he's getting enough money so that he can continue to do it. Like he continuously said, it is a hobby for him. This is not a business. And the other thing, which I think a lot of people need to think about, including myself, is thinking about where you stand out. How are you different? What value can you provide that other people either don't or can't provide themselves? Because that is how you make yourself successful, not by fading into the Depop abyss of plenty of different clothes. What makes you you? Chan's Garms, like I said in the little conversation we had, have the clothes a little bit messed up, and it's just that tiny little thing that makes them and means that people might come back to them. They really like their style, or at least as soon as they see their image, they know who they're dealing with. But anyway, leave a comment on what was your favorite bit, your favorite takeaway, and have a look at the description below. Again, all of Casual's warehouse information is down there, as well as a link to our Instagram, where you can really get involved in this community, where we give tips, tricks, share other Depop and resellers' journeys, improve them, and build and strengthen this community. I will see you next time.